Okay, after a long weekend, we have very tight company here. Anyways, we hope people will join us. Okay, so October 13, equivalent values promissory note treasury bills. We continue simple interest and its applications. Okay, let's recall the formula. So formula for interest amount is PRT. Right. This formula can be used in the form of P is I over RT. R, that's I over PT. So R. T is I over PR. Next, we have future value formula. One of its kind of intuitive life experience format, principal plus interest. So from here we can find principal and interest. Okay, now what we're gonna do, we will combine formulas together. So we will combine these two, and as a result, we will have future value formula as is P1 plus RT. That's future value formula used when what? We move money together with time. Okay, that's when we use it. When we move money to the future, right? Out of future value formula, we have present value formula plus RT -1 because that's exponent, and we use that formula when we move money opposite direction to time. As alternative, present value formula can be used in the form of fraction as 1 plus RT. Okay, so now we're going to combine these two. When we combine these two, we will have formula in rate interest. Rate is S minus P over PT. We're going to use it today, this formula. And now we combine these two, and we will have formula for time. T is S minus P over PR. Any questions, guys? So those are basically formulas for simple interest. Now, as an addition to these formulas, we have certain techniques, and those techniques we will learn soon. Some of them we learned already, some of them we will learn soon. Just to refresh your memory here, I have a question. A loan of 5,000 is to be repaid in 3 equal installments due 60, 120, 180 days after the date of the loan. If the focal date is the date of the loan and interest 6.9% fee, compute the amount of installments. Okay, so recommended picture. So 5,000 is sitting right there. Right, so it is what? Focal date, right? Does everyone remember what is focal date, guys? Okay, very good. So 60 days, 60 days, 120 days, and 180 days. So 3, x, x, x. By the way, those 3 payments, they have to be what? Equal or related. Because if you have different payments and they are not related, by related I mean it could be x, 2x, 1 over 2x, something like that. So then you can solve the problem. But if you have x, y, z, you cannot solve that problem. And somebody gonna tell me why? Guys, do you know why you cannot solve the problem if you have 3 different not related payments? What do you say? Well, if you don't know, say I don't know. Well, they aren't equal. Okay, let's do this. Let's form the equation, and then it will be more clear and visible why those payments have to be equal or related. So let's have it. So I have 5,000, right? On the one side and 3 payments on other side. So 1 plus 0, 69. What? I move money. All 3 of them what? To the left, right? It means what formula I'm gonna use? People. If I go opposite direction to time, what formula I use? Present value. Yes, very good. So minus 1. You see, for that reason, this format of the formula, what I offer, it's more convenient because you can decide is it present value or future value when you actually have those x times brackets, right? So if you use fraction, you have to make a decision before. I don't say it's wrong or hard. It's just difficult or matter of habit. So again, negative 1. Oh, I forgot time, right? Nobody telling me that it's still time involved. Time. So 60 over 365. Negative 1 plus x. Okay, it's 9. 120. 365. Negative 1 plus x. Oops. Okay, let's do this. So t right there. 180 over 365. Negative 1. So I have equation with one unknown. Now, in case I have x, y, z, I have equation with 3 unknowns, right? So can we solve this kind of equation by itself? Well, actually, when I'm asking that with unique solution, we can put here, for example, $10, $20, and find rest for z, right? It's possible, but it's not going to be solution what we're looking for. So To solve equation with 3 unknown, we have to have 3 actual equations. Then solution will be unique, right? And 1. To avoid that, therefore payments, they have to be either equal, right, like here, or related, like x, 2x, or 1/3 x, or any other relation for x. Okay, guys, go ahead and do it. Everybody calculating. Okay, I'm not gonna show steps, I just calculate. So when I calculated those coefficients and add them up, I have this 93369 times x. And from here, it's possible to find x. Okay, that's the answer. Please confirm my number. Okay, so just a few words about test. Well, I hoped for better result. Now, guys, analyze your mistakes, right, and fix them, because most of the times when it is last week or 2 weeks before the end of the course, people say, what can I do to improve my mark, etc., etc. Well, at that time, basically nothing. Okay, so make proper conclusion from the result you have from the test 1, and fix the problem if you need to. If you have the problem, it has to be fixed. Okay, promissory notes. Promissory notes, that's one of the applications for simple interest. Basically, it's a legal document. It says that one party borrows money from another party with promise to pay back. Okay. So those kind of notes, they have to be signed in presence of paralegal or lawyer, right? Otherwise, it's good as toilet paper, so means nothing. So I put few words here for you to have better idea what is it. So following information is directly available in the promissory notes: maker, payee, the face value, rate of interest, not always, that I put here, date of issue date, term, the due date, maturity date, or date of maturity or maturity date. Not always, well, but yeah. So here, Canadian law relating to promissory notes allows for a grace period to extend the due date that falls on weekends or statutory holidays. The legal due date then becomes the next business day. For example, we had long weekend just now, right? So if your due date was October 11, it would be moved to October 12th. Same here, promissory note from July 1, which is what holiday becomes, so July 2 becomes next due date. For promissory note examples and exercises in this chapter, the grace period will not be included unless specifically noted. So we do not use that for our practices, right? And anyways, when you sign a note with a legal advice, they will tell you, well, okay, you know what, that's holiday, we have to move due date a little bit to the future. Now, it's very important what we're going to say now. We have two types of promissory note. Please remember that. It's very important information. So we have interest-bearing promissory note and non-interest-bearing promissory note. Okay, let's read those examples here. I, John Smith, borrow from Jim Carter $1,000 with promise to repay in 6 months with interest of 6%. That's one statement. Second statement. I, John Smith, borrow from Jim Carter with promise to pay $1,000 in 6 months. Okay, guys, what is the difference? What difference do you see in these two promissory notes? Can anybody tell me? Well, different amount. What do you mean? Here $1,000 and here $1,000. Well, you close, guys. You close. You have a feeling, but you see those are different, right? Interest. Both have interest. The only thing is, if it is February 16, 2021, $1,000 sits here. Okay. Okay. If in this case, February 16, $1,000 sits here. Okay, that's the main difference. So write this down, please. In case we have interest-bearing promissory note, the face value equals present value. In case we have non-interest-bearing promissory note, the face value equals future value. Oh, that's S, right? Okay, that's the main difference in between these two notes. So before we do anything, we have to decide what note do we have. So is that clear, people? Okay, second one, you mean that's right there. The face value of the note is future value. Face value of the note is future value. That's what you wanted to hear? Yeah, okay. So that's the main difference. Let's practice that. Let's practice that. Calculate the maturity value of an 806 months note with interest at 7.5, dated May 31, 2021. Yeah, use table. That's I just did this table. Remember, guys, we used that table already. Days between dates. That's table 7.2. It has to be right. Okay, but per se, another piece of information, what you need to remember, with promissory notes, we will always use number of days. So if it is 6 months note here, we don't use 6/12 as time. We actually find maturity date, right? And then count number of days. Let's see how it works here. So first of all, what do you say? Is it interest-bearing note or non-interest-bearing note? Interest-bearing, yeah, very good. 2021, what hints we have? We have interest rate stated, right? So 800 sits right there. Now, how we find maturity date? Usually we jump from day of the month to day of the month. For example, if we write note today, we would go November 13, December 13, January 13. So we will jump between 13th of each month. If note issued like here May 31st, it's the last day of the month. So we will jump between last days of the month. Because for instance, June doesn't have June 31st, right? Guys, so it doesn't mean we have to skip June because it doesn't have 31 days. So what we do, we go June 30th, then July 31st, August 31st, September 30th, October 31st, November 30th. So November 30th, 2021, that is legal due date for that note. So any questions regarding how we find maturity date, guys? Okay, very good. So take time. What we have, November 31st, let's 30th actually, 334 minus May 31st. Do we care about leap year here, yes or no? No, right? So first of all, it's not a leap year, but second of all, we don't have February in our what interval, so we don't care. Okay, 183 for you, just as a hint, to remember that half a year or 6 months is around 180. Sometimes it's 183, sometimes 180, 181, 182 number of days. So it depends what month, what time of the year, right? So, but if you have 6 months, it has to be around 180, 180. 334, that's a number what represent November 30th in a table called days between dates. 151, that's number what represent May 31st in the same table. Basically is number of days from new year to this date. When we started our course, few first classes, we started to use that table. Remember, people? Guys? Okay, very good, very good. So now we can find what? Future value, right? Maturity value right there. So S is, and by the way, everything works. So we have to move to the future, right? So S is 800, 1 plus 0.075. Now I have number of days. Okay, let's calculate. 830.08. that is maturity value. Just to demonstrate you the difference between answers when you use month, okay, so what we would do this, right? So you see this 8 cents, we already lost it here. Nothing. So therefore, it's agreed that for promissory note calculation, we're not going to use month, but we use number of days. Okay, guys, is that clear? Okay, very good. Let's continue our practice here. 5 months note dated January 31st, 2022 and bearing interest 8% PA per annum or per year has a maturity value of 557.75. Calculate the face value of the note. Okay, guys, what do we have? Interest bearing or non-interest bearing note? Interest bearing, very good. So picture January 31st, 2022. By the way, 2022, is it leap year, yes or no? No. Okay. So 5 months. Again, we go from end of the month till end of the month. So February 28th, March 31st, April 30th, May 31st, June 30th, right? That is what? Due date and maturity value, which is 557.75. It's already what? Of course, in maturity date. Now, what we need to do, we need to find face value. In other words, we have to take this money and bring it back. What? Using what formula, guys? What formula we will use here? Present value. Very good. So let's find number of days T. Again, we use table. June 30th, what? 181 minus January 31st is what? 31. So it's 150 days. 150 days. So present value P, that is 557.75. 1 plus 0.08, 150 over 365. Present value formula. Yeah, make sure you know how to calculate it. So it says 539, 99, 66844. So I will round it to $540. Okay, confirm my number, people. Okay, so let's move forward. Oops, hold on. Okay, an 180-day note for 2,000 with interest at 7% is dated September 18, 2024. Compute the value of the note on December 1, 2024 is if money is worth 5%. Okay, so that's interesting question. So let's analyze it. First of all, is it interest-bearing or non-interest-bearing note? Interest-bearing, very good. 2024. So is 2024 leap year? Yes. Do we care about leap year here? Yes or no? No, right? Because what? February is behind, so we don't care. Now, 180 days, and for sure, December 1 is prior to that date, 280 days, right? December 1, 2024. So, is picture clear to everybody? Okay, now let's analyze more. When note was issued, we had 7% of interest. When we're looking at the moment, what we look for the value of the note is 5% of interest. So I can say that we basically planning to sell that note on December 1, right? So if we want to know the price, next step most likely will be transaction, right? So write this down. If we sell interest-bearing promissory note before its maturity, we must perform two steps. So if we sell interest-bearing promissory note before maturity, we must perform two steps. Ready, guys, for step one? So step one, find maturity value. Step one, find maturity value. So as is using what? Interest rate, what was the day of issue. So 2000 here. So 2000, 1 plus 0.007. Now 180 days over 365. Let's calculate it. $2,069.04. Now, do we need to know maturity date? People? No, we don't have to. Absolutely. We have time, 180 days, that's enough. So step number two, we take maturity value back to day of transaction using what? Interest rate for that day. So step 2, P is 2069.04, 1 plus 0.05, and now people, we need to know this time interval, right? Yes or yes? So how we find it? First, we can find a time between what, September 2018, oops, wrong tool, between September 18 and December 1st. So let's do it. So 335 minus September 18 is 261. That's 74 days, right? Please confirm. And T here would be 180 minus 74. What is that? 106, right? So, does everyone understand what we just did? Okay, very good, very good. So, guys, sometimes students, they mixed up what interval to use. Well, it's very easy. If you go from one point to another point, that's interval between them, that's your interval of your interest, right? So 106 over 365 minus 1 as exponent. So let's calculate that. I have $2,039.43. Please confirm my number. So that's one of the classic questions for promissory notes, right? So please remember that example. It will be on a test. It will be on a test. Okay, next. Determine the maturity date for 180 non-interest bearing note for 7200 issued on February 20, 2024. Then calculate the present value on June 1, 2024 if money is worth 64%. So 2024, is it leap year? Do we care about it? Yes, 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 of course. This time, yes, it matters. So February 20th, 2024. Now, maturity date, 180 days here. So let's find it. So please, anybody, I want to know your answer. For what? For maturity date. What date is here? Determine maturity date. So go ahead, find maturity date. Don't forget that we have leap year, right? No, it's not. It's not August 20. How come it's August 20? It's August 18. Let's find out why. So what we have, February 20 gives me February 20. Well, it's 180 day. It's not counted by month. So February 20 tells me 51, right? That's the number of days from New Year to February 20. Yes, guys? Everybody? Yeah. Okay, so now what I do, I put 180. What is that? What is it? 180 to 31, right? To 31. But I have what? February 29 here, right? So it takes one more day. So that's why I take one day away. So 230. So what 230 represents? All right. Well, then you think logically. This February takes one day out from 180, right? Okay, so therefore we have August 18. Got it, people? Okay, very good. So, and why we take not add? Well, if you count, let's say, number of days between August and let's find out. Let's do this. So let's do the reverse problem. If you find August 18, 230 minus 51, what is that? 179, right? But because it's leap year, we add 1. We add that February because it's 1 extra day. Now, if you have 180 day from February and you use table, what you will calculate? You will calculate 231. But considering February 29, we take this day away. Okay, think about it. It's like we already counted one day with February 29, so we have to take it from 231 out. Understood? Okay, very good. So now June 1st, it's somewhere here, right? June 1st, 2024. Now, remember we were talking 2 steps for, here's 7,200. We were talking 2 steps for interest-bearing note, right? Now for non-interest-bearing note, because what's happening here, basically we find value of the note before maturity, right? So next step, logical step, is to sell it, right? So what we do, in other words, we sell non-interest-bearing promissory note before maturity. So write this down. If you sell non-interest-bearing promissory note before its maturity, you need one step only. One step only. What step? Basically, take maturity value back to day of sale. So P is 7,200 1 plus 0.0564. Now, number of days. Let's find it. Oh, we have August 18, right? So what interval we need? We need what? That time interval. So please find number of days. August 18 is what? 230. And we what? We don't care about leap year anymore, right? June 1, 152. That's 78 days. Please confirm my number. Make sure everybody would know how to find it. So 7114 25. Okay, finish your calculations. Ask me questions if you have. So if you sell non-interest bearing promissory note before its maturity, you need one step only. And this step is what? Calculate present value of face value in day of transaction. So for interest bearing, we required two steps. First step was actually to find maturity value and then take it back. Here we already have maturity value, so there is no need for step one because the answer is here. Face value is maturity value, right? So we take only one step, and which is take back in time maturity value to point of sale. Understood, guys? You're welcome. Let's do one more question. Compute the present value on the date of issue of non-interest bearing 953 months promissory note dated April 30th, 2022 if money is worth 6.5%. So here is clearly stated that note is non-interest bearing. So April 30th, 2022, quick check right away. It's not a leap year, right? 3 months. So what I have, April has 30 days, right? So May 31st, June 30th, August 31st. That's the maturity date. So 950 sits here. I skipped July. Okay, one more time. May. Yeah, okay, good. So July. Thank you, guys. It means we need break and have morning coffee, right? But probably me, not you. So May, June, July. July 31st. Okay. So 950 sits here. Interest rate they want us to use is 6.5%. So still it's stated, yet promissory note is non-interest bearing. Why? First of all, they say so, right? And interest rate we use, right, because otherwise we wouldn't know how to find present value. It would be 950, right? So present value is 950. 1 plus, so how many days? That's 2022. So July 31st, 212 minus April 30th, 120, 92 days. So 0.065, 92 over 365, -1. $934.69. Any questions? Okay, how it's going so far? Okay, so let's have a break. I put here question if you like. You can try and do it. If not, we will do it together after the break. Anyway, so be back at what? Let's put 9. Okay, so we have break. Okay, guys, break is over. Let's continue. So Henry purchased large screen TV at local store that had advertised no payments until 2023. He signed the contract on March 14, 2022, agreeing to pay $19.95 on January 2, 2023. If money is worth 11%, what is the value of the note on the day of signing? So let's analyze what we have. He signed paper on March 14, 2022. Did he pay that day? Guys, no. So on January 2, 2023, he promises to pay $19.95. So what kind of note we have? Interest bearing or non-interest bearing? So basically what? He's using financing from the store, right? No payment until. So interest bearing note or non-interest bearing note? Well, interest bearing. Why? Why you say so? What makes you think this way? Because you have 11%? Well, let's think then, when is face value is located? What point? Now or in the future? Guys, face value, where is it? Well, now is March 14. He's buying TV today. So always put yourself in the shoes of that character, Henry, right? So you buying TV today. They say, well, you know what? Take TV, don't pay us till next year, right? So when you pay now or next year? In the future, right? So that's the main indicator what we use to determine is note interest bearing or non-interest bearing. So in this case, face value located in the future, it means what? Okay. Face value located in the future, it means this note, what Henry promised, is non-interest bearing. Is that clear, guys? Okay, so the main thing to look at is where face value is located. If it's located today, it means you have interest-bearing note. If it's located in the future, you have non-interest-bearing note. So 11%, that's what they charge. And we need to do this 1995. So remember trick with prices, they were including future sort of say discounts already in the price. So to make you happy, you have discount, wow, right? But you pay whatever they want you to pay. Same here. They say don't pay until 2023, but in reality, what they charge you interest for that. Okay, tell me please how many days we have here. March 14. Somebody please calculate number of days between March 14 and January 2. You need my help, guys? Or you okay? $294, yes. So does everyone know how to find it? Guys, make sure that you do. Need help? Say, okay. Everybody knows. Very good. So 1832.62. So actually knowing that, you can approach them and say, listen, guys, if I pay you cash now, I can pay you this much. Or you can start lower than that. You can start from 1500 and bargain, right? Believe me, every salesperson, if it's good salesperson, knows how much down he can go. But on other hand, discount what you get, it going out of salesperson pocket. Okay, people, questions? Let's move forward. Compute the maturity value for promisor for 350 promissory note issued on October 30th at 4.5 for 90 days. Okay, guys, do it. 2 minutes. Go ahead. Okay, let's see. First of all, is this note interest bearing or non-interest bearing? Guys, people, why? Why non-interest bearing? Where the 350 located? October 30th or present? So it is interest bearing. That's present value, right? It means, okay, do we need to know maturity date actually? Yes or no? Guys, what do you say? Do we need to know that? Well, I would say no. Why? Because we already have time. We have 90 days. But for the sake of practice, let's find it. Okay, October 30th, what is it? Okay, so if you like, what is maturity date, guys? Anybody please find it for me. January 28th, yes, very good, very good. January 28th, but in reality, we do not need to know that date because we already have time. But we found it, it's a good practice. That's 490 over 365. So 353.88. That's the maturity value. Any questions? Okay, let's move forward. A 7-month note dated November 1st, 2023, earning interest 7.5%, has maturity value of 6,000. Determine the face value of the note. You want to do it by yourself for 2 minutes, guys? Okay, do it. You have 2 minutes. Remember, you need to answer the question, is it interest bearing or non-interest bearing note, right? That's the first answer. Okay, let's do together. So November 1, 2023, 7 months. Actually, here now we need to find maturity date, right? Why? Because we need number of days. We don't need number of months. So let's count. December 1, January, February, then March, April, May, June. June 1, right? Please confirm. Okay, so now we need to find time. 20, yeah, by the way, 6,000 sits right there, right? That's maturity value. So that is interest-bearing note. Does everyone understand that? It is interest-bearing promissory note. So 2024 is leap year, right? But what we do, let me start a little bit to the left. Okay. So T, first we would finish current year minus November 1, that's 305. And then we add June 1st, 152. And we add what? 1 day for February 29. So what is that? 152 plus 1, 213 days. Please confirm that value. Okay, let me double check. June is month 6, right? Yes. Now, determine the face value. So P is 6,000, 1 plus 0.075, 213 over 365, negative 1. $5,748.41. So please confirm my number. Any questions, people? Okay, let's move forward. A 6 months note for this much with interest at 8% is issued on April 1. Calculate the present value on June 20th if money is worth this 7.2. Okay, guys, 2 minutes. Do it. Okay. So what do we have here? Interest-bearing or non-interest-bearing note, guys. What do you say? Are you there, guys? Do you hear me? Okay, so what is it? Interest-bearing note or non-interest-bearing note? Interest-bearing. Very good. 19,300 sits right there. Right, so 8% of interest at the moment of its issue. Let me put in red 8%. Right there. Now, what we do, we sell that note on June 20th, 2022, right? And interest 7.2%. Now, because we have a time in months, we need to find maturity date, right? And calculate number of days, because how many steps we need? 2, right? 2 steps. First step is to find maturity value, and second step to take this value back in time to June 20th. So 6 months. 6 months. Well, no. Present value, it's a step 2. Present value, it's a step 2. So what situation here? What scenario? We are selling interest-bearing promissory note prematurely, right? Remember, we had a question like that. So we need 2 steps. Okay, let's find maturity date. So April 1, May, June, July, August, September, October 1. I hope I didn't miss July this time. October 1. Okay, so now let's find T from April 1 to October 1. So please, minus 91. I found 183 days. Right? So as I said, 6 months, remember? So what we have? Around 180. So we're okay. Now, first step, S, is to calculate future value or maturity value. Using interest rate what was on the day of issue. And this time is what? 8%. Okay. So 20,000 actually, $74.12. So confirm my number, please. Okay, so that was originally I highlight, right? So now T for step 2, because what we have to do? Now we have to what? Come back here. So T for step 2, what is it? June 20th. 274 minus June 20th. June 20th is 171. 103 days. right? So step 2, we find present value. Guys, do you see that color? Okay, actually nice color, baby blue. So present value from maturity value, that's what we calculated in step 1. Interest rate, we use the one on a day of transaction, so it's right there, right? 103 over 365, -1. Okay, and yeah. So let's calculate. $19,674 and 38 cents. So confirm my value, please. Any questions, people? So again, pay attention to this kind of scenario. So you remember that we need what? Two steps. Okay. On November 1, 2023, Sonia purchased a leather chair advertised at $19.80, including an offer to defer payment for 8 months. If she does not agree to the 8 months deferment and money is worth 19.8%, how much would she have to pay in cash on the day of purchase? Okay, guys, 2 minutes. Do it. Okay. Let's analyze that question together. So, Sonia, November 1, buying something. What she's buying doesn't matter, right? Leather chair. They say, okay, don't pay for 8 months. So 8 months later, you pay us 1980. So what kind of note I have? Interest or non-interest bearing? So where is the face value located? People, In the present or in the future, where face value is located? In the future. So what kind of note we have? Non-interest bearing. Very good. So 8 months. Let's find what is that in dates, because we need what actual date in this case. So November, 8 months. That's December, January, February, March, April, May, June, July. July 1st. July 1st, 2024. Please confirm my calculations. Okay. So now T, how I find? I finish years 365 minus November 1, 305, and then plus July 1st, that's 182, plus what? That's 182, plus 1 for February, right? Because 2024 is what? Leap year. So 60 plus 183, that's 243 days, right? And what we do, we take present value from 1980, 1 plus interest rate is probably credit card, right? 243, 365, negative 1. So she can pay, oops, 57, this much. She can say, okay, I pay cash this much, and that share is mine. Any questions, people? Okay, let me check something here. Okie dokie. So we are on week 6, right? We are on week 6. Well, we're going pretty good. We're going pretty good. We have time for everything. Let's move forward. Treasury bills. Treasury bills. So that's another application of simple interest. And look at here what I put, what I'm circling right now. T-bill is non-interest bearing promissory note. That's very important piece of information you need to remember all the time. Okay, so what does that mean? It means that face value is future value. Face value is future value. Let's read that fairy tale story, what I put here. So treasury bills or T-bills are promissory note issued by the federal government and most provincial governments to meet short-term financial requirements. So when they need money, they what? Either raise taxes or sell you the paper. Government of Canada T-bills are for terms of 91, 182. So basically what? Quarter, half a year, and a year, right? T-bills are auctioned by the Bank of Canada on behalf of the federal government. They are available in denominations 1,000, 5, 25, 100, and million. T-bills are bought at the auction mainly by charter banks and investment dealers for real sale to other investors such as smaller financial institutions, corporations, mutual funds, and individuals. For example, I know only few people who can afford to purchase 1 million T-bill, right? So what happened? They purchased 1 million T-bill, and then they may resell smaller, let's say 1,000 T-bills for $1,000. That's for example, right? Of course, interests are different, blah, 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 blah. But the most important piece of information here is circled in green. So another thing you should remember that every time you have question for T-bill, you use only two formulas. First formula is present value. Second formula is for interest rate. Remember at the very beginning of the class, I introduced that formula for you? So no future value formula, S formula. No S formula here. No S formula. But anyways, no matter how I hard tell that, some people usually who are not in class use future value formula for the T-bill. So one more time, T-bill is non-interest bearing promissory note. It means its face value, which is what? Those numbers. Those numbers, right? Face value is future value. Then we use only two formulas. One is for present value calculation. Second is for interest rate calculation. So far, any questions, people? Okay. Let's have a look how it works in real question. An investment dealer bought 91-day Canada T-bill to yield annual rate of return of 0.99%. Does everyone understand this magic word yield? So, yeah, very good. Yield means basically what? Interest rate. Interest rate. So what was the price paid by investment dealer for T-bill with a face value of 100,000? So what? Let's make a picture. He buying it today for 91 day, right? And because it is non-interest bearing note, its future face value is what? Future value. So 100,000 sits right at the end of the game. Now, one more assumption what we make here, we think this way. Every time T-bill sold or purchased, right? So somebody selling, somebody buying. So every time we have a transaction of sale, we assume that new owner intend to hold that T-bill to the end of the game or till maturity. It doesn't matter, like here in this question, this investment dealer resells it right away, but at the moment he purchases it, we assume that he intends to hold this bill to the end. Okay, it's a very important assumption. So what we have, we find P of 100,000, return 0.99, so 0, we still have to convert that to real value, right? Don't be tricked that it is decimal already. 91 over 365 minus 1. Let's see, what is it? So $99,753.79. So he buying bill for that money, right? If he holds it for 91 days, he has approximately $246 profit. Does everyone understand that part? Guys? Yeah, we probably have to cancel long weekends. But it's not Tuesday, it's Wednesday already, guys. It's like, some people, they say, why New Year always starts from January 2? So simply because they do not remember January 1, right? They were celebrating so hard. Okay, question 2. The investment dealer resold that 100,000 T-bill same day to the investor to yield 0.95%. What was the investment dealer profit on the transaction? So what happens? He resells it, right? I have two moments here. Moment number one, I assume that new owner will hold T-bill to the end of the game. So his maturity value is again 100,000, right? Second moment, I know that there is no future value in T-bill questions. So I calculate P again, 100,000, 1 plus what has changed, the interest rate, right? So this guy, the first one, he didn't produce anything. He just resold it. That's the actually one cause for inflation. So 99, 763, 71. So I think this one, his profit, what is his profit? Profit is the difference between money he received when he sold, this one, minus money he paid or he invested, this one. So it's 9 something, right? $9.20, no, 99, 763, 71 minus 99, so 992. That his profit. Any questions, guys? Okay. I think I have few actually questions for T-bill, but let's leave it for the next class. Okay, so maybe, but it's going to be Monday anyways. Okay, so for the homework, we leave it for the next class on a fresh head, as we say. You may try 8.2 actually. Let's do it. We started already T-bills, so you should be fine. So that's your homework. Expect this week have new quizzes. new quizzes. And that's it. Thank you guys for the class. Have a nice rest of the week and see you Monday. Bye bye.